Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Keep Gaming Reviews. I am Lan Mind, and today we're reviewing Black Widow. Joining me, we have Johnny Boom Botz. What's up, Johnny?
You, what's going on? How
Seriously,
you doing today?
seriously, bro.
Sorry.
And we also have the one and only MeLlamoCeeGee. Chris, what's going on, man?
Yo, you know the vibes. You know what I'm talking about. We out here. Let's get this money.
So, Black Widow has just been released. This movie was supposed to come out a year ago, but because of the pandemic, they stretched it out. Disney finally said, you know what, we're going to put it on Disney Plus for $30, and it's going to come out in theaters. These two gentlemen saw it at home. I saw it in theaters, and we're just going to dive right into it. Guys, what were your thoughts overall with this film? How do you feel, being that it's been 2 years since we last saw a Marvel film? What were your thoughts overall, Johnny?
10 out of 10 IGN.
Damn it. I was going to do the same thing, bro.
I knew it, Chris. I knew it.
Wow. He's trolling, ladies and gentlemen. It's just because they want to get a reaction out of me. That's all it is.
Oh my god. Okay. So, okay, no. To be honest, the movie was good. The movie was not as bad as Iron Man 3. So there were some Marvel movies that I watch and I'm like, I'll never watch this again. Like Thor: Dark World. Like I barely remember it. I try not to remember it. But I will say that Black Widow, it was a good movie. I did enjoy it. It wasn't like, oh my god, it's not Avengers Endgame. But I feel they released it at the wrong time. If they would have released it after Civil War and they would have released it during that time frame, it would have made a lot more sense and it would have been a lot more climactic. But the fact that you're releasing it so much later compared to the other ones, and you already know Black Widow's, you know Natasha's overall what's going to happen to her.
The outcome.
You already know that she got the soul. You know they killed her for the Soul Stone. So you don't feel like that she's in danger. You don't feel like, oh my god, is she gonna die? Is she gonna? You kind of know, like, bro, no matter what, she's gonna live. Like, so that's where I think that they messed that up. But I'm glad that they used the other actresses and actors in the movie because they didn't focus. They didn't focus on her specifically. They gave a good backstory to the Black Widow program. So that's where I think that they did good, as opposed to making it only about Scarlett Johansson, Natasha. They really did kind of give a feedback into the Black Widow program to make you realize it's not her. She's not the only one. Black Widow is not Natasha. Black Widow is a program of the Red Room, a program of Dreykov, and he's the one that is overall this villain that we need. So they gave a lot to that. But again, though, too, this was a one-off. It wasn't something that they're going to be able to grow and build off of, I don't think. They might, but I don't see it really going that far.
Chris?
Right. This feels, like you said, a one-off, similar to how the Hulk movie came out, and just we haven't seen anything about it since. Obviously, we're getting a She-Hulk show, but that's different as She-Hulk. Overall, though, I actually did enjoy the movie. It did feel misplaced. It wasn't the greatest thing in the world, but it also wasn't the worst Marvel movie. It's a solid mid-tier movie. It was a solid
Facts.
movie. Okay.
Facts.
Yes, there's always issues in all these Marvel stuff because they're not gonna always stick to the source material, but it was enjoyable.
All right. Now,
Here we go.
I agree with you both on certain things. So let's start off with this movie should never been made. Now, if you didn't put it, no, listen. Hear me out.
I agree with both some things you both said. Let me start off with it shouldn't have been made. Like how?
We'll return after these messages.
I don't think this movie should have been made. Now, the reason I say that is because what John said earlier is that this movie should have been placed right after Civil War, rather than, according to what I see here, Civil War came out, and then after Civil War, you had Doctor Strange. Now, I don't mind Doctor Strange coming out after Civil War, but if this movie's taking place after Civil War and before Infinity War, that's where this movie should have been made. So this movie should have been made back in 2016, not in 2021 or 2020 when originally was supposed to come out. Like you guys were saying, there was no sense of urgency or danger because we knew her fate, that she was going to die. So I felt like this was just, it could have just been a Disney Plus show. You want to give us a background of the Red Room, of the Black Widows. I get it, but it just didn't do anything for me. I felt like this was a waste of time. You guys missed the mark. And then, of course, spoilers ahead if you didn't know this already. And there's not much spoilers in this movie anyway. It's really the end credits. That's really the spoiler. There's nothing to be spoiled here. But it was really to me, I felt there was not even a big bad. There wasn't a threatening villain that made you feel any nervous for anybody that's part of the family that, you know, we had from the actresses that were together, Yelena and Melina and Alexei, like their family together. Like you didn't feel like anyone was ever in danger. And it was just like, all right, I guess, whatever. But overall, I thought the movie was trash. I don't think it's worse than Dark World, the Thor: The Dark World. I can kind of like fight for Iron Man 3 that is a little bit better than Iron Man 3. But I don't think this was mid-tier. I remember Chris said yesterday.
At your bottom 3?
I know you said that it was better than Captain Marvel. And when you said that yesterday, I almost lost my shit because Captain Marvel was 10 times better than this.
I'll agree with Lou on that one. Captain Marvel is better than this movie.
Unless Chris was trolling, because Chris likes to troll me. I don't know. If you had to rate this like they got the evil laugh. Like, if you had to rank this out of all the films, like the top worst, I mean, because you don't even consider this a bad film, but where would you rank this? I mean, there's 24 films. I'm not gonna make you go through all 24.
I still think it's mid.
Mid. Okay.
It's not all the way at the bottom, and it's not all the way at the top. It's a mid. Because my bottom 3 are gonna stay the same.
And what are your bottom 3?
Thor: Dark World, Iron Man 3, and Incredible Hulk.
Oh yeah, Incredible Hulk is bad. I don't even. It sucks that I don't include it because, you know, they have a different actor. It's Edward Norton and you just saw Iron Man at the end.
Fourth would probably be the first Thor because I didn't like that one either.
That one wasn't good either. Yeah, that one wasn't good.
Then Age of Ultron, I would put that up there, like, towards the bottom of it. Towards the bottom. If I had to choose like bottom 5, I'm not talking about like it's my worst ones. I just really wasn't a huge fan of Age of Ultron, but it was not bad. It wasn't bad.
I would admit it wasn't better than the original Avengers. The original Avengers is like top notch.
Oh, original Avengers would probably be one of my top ones, but one of my top 5 out of all of them would be probably my top 5, only because of the idea of them all coming together and stuff. So it's more of like a nostalgia idea. It's not really that it was really done well. I mean, it was good, but it wasn't like, oh my god. Yeah. But it was still up there though. But yeah, no, this would not be my bottom 3. I would definitely agree with Chris that it would definitely be Incredible Hulk is the worst.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree.
Thor: Dark World is the second to the worst. And then what was the other one? Oh yeah, Iron Man 3. Yeah. Iron Man 3 is probably my worst.
See, this is
my bottom 3.
So this is the issue that I have. So they introduced Taskmaster. We've seen it throughout the trailer. And I feel in the movie, all the action set pieces were part of the trailer. There was nothing that was like, oh, I didn't see that coming, because we saw it in the trailer. At least I think I did, because it looked like everything that was in the trailer was in the movie. Nothing really stood out to me as far as the Taskmaster's moves. I mean, yeah, they were cool. That's what Taskmaster's supposed to do. Mimics the moves of all the other characters. And that's what they did. But it's how they went about it. John, what were your thoughts on Taskmaster?
So Taskmaster, rather, excuse me. For starters,
the Masked Singer.
There's 2 ways about it that I'm not a fan of.
Okay.
I like the fight scenes of it. I think the fight scenes were great. I like, you know, the look of her. I like the look of her.
Yeah, for those that don't know,
right. Yeah, because originally Taskmaster is actually known as Tony. It's Tony Masters in the comics. And in here it's Antonia.
Yeah, it's cool. Dragov's daughter. Am I saying that right? Right. Dragov?
It's Dracov's daughter.
Yeah.
So it's Dracov's daughter, Antonia. Now, for this movie and for what they did with it, it fits into the narrative of where they were trying to go with the movie, with the mind control and all that kind of stuff. However, I did like the fact that when you first see Taskmaster, they show him, he's watching fight scenes of what?
You said you see him.
Oh, sorry. When you first see her, sorry, I apologize. I'm so used to saying Taskmaster as being him. That's why.
Because that's how it's supposed to be. But go ahead.
So I will say that when you first see her though, when she's in the room watching video when they go to start her, she's watching Hawkeye a fight scene. Like she's watching the Avengers fight scenes. So what I took from that was, again, as we know, Taskmaster is supposed to, for those that don't know in the comics, he's able to be mimicking. He has what's called photo reflex. It's not a superpower. He was just born with photo reflex as a child. They found out because of the fact that he was watching a cowboy show and he started taking the lasso and doing all the lasso tricks, the whole 9 yards. The parents were like, what the hell? They brought him to the doctor and they said he has photo reflex skills. He used that in the comics to give a little bit of backstory. He used that and he thought of his mind, let me become not a superhero, but let me become a supervillain. Let me go become a criminal. I want to start robbing things because of the fact that I have all these skills. I can pick up everything I can. He realized it wasn't lucrative, so what he did was he started training. He started training villains for all these different villains. He started training for superheroes and villains, both. He was training them, and that's what he did as a villain. And then, of course, it evolves from there, years of comics and everything else too. But in this one, they made it where it's Dreykov's daughter. They made it where the fight scenes, though, again, going back to that with that idea of the photo reflex, the Captain Marvel shield. Not the Captain Marvel. What the hell? Sorry,
Captain America.
Captain. Yeah, he got me messed up with Marvel before. Captain America, when he did the shield kick, when he hit it into his hand and grabbed it, when he did the Bucky knife trick, like there were numerous moves that if you watch all of the movies,
Black Panther claws,
the Black Panther, yeah, exactly. Like it's so much of. He used a little bit of each and every one of them. Exactly. That I loved. I love that. The fact that she didn't talk. I'm sorry. They definitely Deadpooled her by Fox. They gave her that, let's just take
original Deadpool. Yeah. And Wolverine origin story. Yeah.
Right. Let's take somebody that actually has speaking lines. Somebody that's known to speak. Somebody that's known to be a trainer. And work for people. He's a mercenary for the most part. And let's take his story and just remove it and give her no speaking, give her a chip in the back of the head. But again, though, too, the good part was, though, that it fit in the MCU story for this movie. And that's what I cannot get mad about. Because they literally brought her back around to fit into the narrative. And they brought it full circle with one of the other movies, too. If you really think about it, they actually brought it back into the Avengers movie. They brought it full circle.
Well, yeah, when Loki tells Black Widow that, Dreykov's daughter, because she says she has a lot of red in her ledger or something like that. And
right, Dreykov's daughter, the hospital fire in Sao Paulo, and it showed that. They also brought it full circle in this movie with what's going on with Hawkeye. And what we finally found about Budapest. Budapest or Budapest, depending on who you ask. But we finally found out, though, out. So back to Taskmaster, though. Yes, I think Taskmaster was screwed over royally and not held true to the comics, which we've seen them do on the MCU with Disney movies and Disney shows lately. They've been starting to get more comic accurate. So if you put it into the timeline, like we've been saying, if you put it into the timeline where it is now, they screwed up. But if you put it into the timeline where it was, Civil War, where it should have been, it would have fit perfectly. Nobody would have even batted a freaking eye about it because of the fact that back then they were still not being comic accurate 100% where they were pulling it out. Like right now, when they pulled out Elias in Marvel, Loki, they're being comic accurate. They were not being that comic accurate back then. So it fits into the timeline, but it does not fit into current day.
Chris, what are your thoughts, man, of Taskmaster?
I'm going to need people to stop acting like Taskmaster is like a huge villain to begin with, okay? He's not that serious. It's not that big of a deal. If they were going to throw away any villain, I'm okay with it being this one. I'm just saying, okay?
Yeah.
The scenes were cool. Yeah, they might have Deadpooled them. Sure. It fit into the storyline for what they wanted to do with this movie. I'm pretty sure they knew before they even started shooting the movie that this was going to be a one-off anyways. And they wanted to introduce... this was more, to me, a story for Yelena. The movie was more for her because we already knew what happened with Natasha.
Yeah.
We knew what happened with Black Widow. And it also introduced more of the super soldier stuff from Falcon and Winter Soldier as well. So that's also what I liked about it because it kind of tied into the TV show, like what happened before and led to the actions of the whole situation in the series. but yeah, like I said, this was more so for Yelena to get put on and introduced to the MCU and get people accustomed to the new people that are going to be the faces. I'm pretty sure of said teams that are coming. You know, whether it be the Thunderbolts or the Dark Avengers, we don't know yet. Okay, but she's going to be a part of it. So yeah, Taskmaster, sure. It wasn't as bad as the Mandarin to me when they first introduced it, and look what they're doing with the Mandarin. It could also be redeemable. Maybe there could be somebody else that was seeing the events of what happened in Black Widow and could be inspired and actually become the real Taskmaster. You never know. It's the MCU. They can do whatever the hell they want. Granted, like I said again, Taskmaster isn't really a huge villain to begin with. So I'm not. Yeah, it was a little bit of a disappointment, but it wasn't like, yo, this movie sucks, bro.
Right, no, 100%
right now. Look.
Listen, I want to touch on this because I feel that the Mandarin, although the Mandarin was a fucking letdown and everyone was upset because you casted a great actor to play this character, and in the trailer you bamboozled us. Like you really took us and we were like, oh, this is gonna be bamboozled. I'm sorry, I said it wrong. Bamboozled us, right? They did, because let's be real, when we saw the trailer, like, yo, it's gonna go down. This is Iron Man's one of his greatest villains. This is gonna go down, and it didn't go down the way we thought. We were all let down. I remember watching it in theater. I'm like, what the fuck? And that's what I said when her Taskmaster's helmet came off. I'm like, come on. I literally said that in the theater, and I think I might have said it too loud. People started looking like, I was upset. I'm like, why? Why did you do this? Now I get it. He's not, the character is not a big villain. And maybe I'm going off of the 2018 Spider-Man video game where he played a kind of a role in the side missions and stuff like that. And it was really great. The action scenes that, like I said, that Taskmaster did were all in the trailer. So nothing was too surprising. I felt like the action scenes were okay. I see more action in John Wick, but it was more like you said, Yelena's movie. She took center stage and she did amazing. When my wife and I left the theater, we said this was her film. And granted, it was, because we already know Black Widow. She's been there since Iron Man 2. She's been from almost the beginning, if you want to look at it. And her time has come and gone. So now we have her. She's another form of Black Widow. They have the same training. They're sisters. They've been through the same thing. So this is just another way of like, all right, let her take the mantle and keep it moving forward. I think she has a lot of charisma. She's very funny. She has great characteristics, great personality, especially in that scene where she's like telling her like, why do you do that flip with your hair? Yo, I was rolling. And then she did it towards the end. I was rolling.
She was like, oh, disgusting. Right.
When she did that superhero pose with the leg out, I watched that happen. I'm like, oh my God, that's like literally frame for frame of Black Widow. Then she's like, oh, it's disgusting. I was like, okay, that makes it better.
That was perfect. It was so dope. It was so dope. She did a great job. I think everybody in the movie did their part, but it was a big letdown for me. And this is why I say this film shouldn't have been made. And if it's going to lead up to the end credits, you could have gave us that somewhere else. You don't have to make me watch an hour, 2-hour movie for me to see that 5-minute clip.
The one thing I will say is like what you guys were saying though, about Yelena being her movie, which does make sense because of the fact that she was the initial art, like the whole even beginning scene when they were children. It's about Yelena and the fact that they don't want her becoming one. So in all reality, they might have used Black Widow as the name. And again, like I said before too, it's not about Natasha. Black Widow is about the Black Widows themselves, because there were numerous Black Widows. So I think that we might have done our own, now that I'm thinking about it, we might have done our own injustice as the fact that we were going into it thinking Black Widow, like, oh, this is all about Scarlett Johansson. This is about Natasha Romanoff. Like, we're going to get this. We're going to get like more story as to what she did, whatever. All they did for us was they gave us what happened in Budapest because of the fact that she's dead. So you never know if Clint's going to ever say it. So we got a closure as to what happened in Budapest. They closed off her story. They closed her story off. They showed her history, the fact that she was given up as a child, that they were traded off the whole 9 yards. But they did give the story to Yelena because they did focus on her more. Yeah. And in all reality too, when you think about it, when at the end of it, when Alexei only has no earpiece and he thinks he does. Like,
yo, he did a great job, bro.
I believe it's pronounced Alexei.
Alexi,
yeah.
thank you. Sorry, not
David
sorry,
Harbour,
Alexi,
the
thank
guy
you.
who's in Stranger Things,
Yes.
named known for that show.
Yeah. So Alexi, I apologize for that one. So Alexi, though, the fact is though that when he's doing that whole move, and they said that wasn't part. Melina was part of like Melina. Why am I freaking Melina? Melina. Yeah, Melina. I keep on like pronouncing the words wrong today. It's Melina. Sorry. So when Melina though says that it wasn't part of the plan, and she was very much, Natasha was very much like, I'm going to give the earpiece to Yelena. Like, maybe that was her way of, in this movie, giving the two, for them to be like let's pass the buck. Let's pass it off. Like, yo, this is the one that's more important. Not my father, not my mom. No, she's the one that's important. And they showed her skill set.
They had a couple of those moments. Even the scene where they're freaking flying down to the ground and she gives her sister the parachute instead of her. She was about to sacrifice her life. Like for her sister.
Another ridiculous scene.
You know what I mean?
I don't know what's worse, that or Fast 9. You know, how did she put the parachute on so perfect? She had like they were flying down. She puts the parachute on. She buckles her in.
It's the training, bro. It's the training.
Well, fuck out of here.
He's basically.
First of all, sir, if you're both flying at the same velocity, going down at the same thing.
You've done this before, John? No, don't give me that shit.
All the time.
No, you never put a parachute on someone as you're falling.
See, you're underestimating Black Widow, bro.
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
You're underestimating her.
Oh, you're trolling me.
She's a peak level human, bro.
When you watched it, did you accept that? Did you say, "Oh yeah, that sounds about right"? She could put a parachute
it's
on.
a comic book movie. Yeah. She's a comic book character who's a peak level human, bro.
What I love though is the fact that Lou will suspend no belief about a fucking god coming from another world with lightning out of his hand, his ass, whatever. But yet he won't fucking suspend the fact that somebody put a parachute on midair. Like, come on now.
Like, dude, think about it, right? Think about this. Think about this for a second, right? You have regular human beings, and then you got super soldiers. She's like right underneath a super soldier. She can fight with super soldiers, literally hand-to-hand combat with super soldiers on the regular.
My microphone just fell. Sorry, guys.
She was giving Bucky hands. She was fighting with Black Panther, all that stuff during Civil War. Like, bro, she can handle her own. She's a peak level human being. Just how like Batman isn't a superhero thingy, whatever. He's a peak level human being. She's a peak level human being, bro.
They even said it too because of the fact that that's the reason why they chose her, because it was the DNA from when she was born. That they did the DNA program. That's the reason why they chose her, and they gave the mother the option to trade her off, basically, to pay for her.
Whatever. You guys give point.
It's okay, you're wrong.
But it's still stupid to me that they're flying and she puts it like it's like I can't even explain it, bro. It's like, okay, I'll give you an example. It's like they're falling down, right? This is stupid, but there's one's falling down. This is Black Widow falling down. The parachute is this tissue that I've been wiping my eye. This is what happened.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
It was like a magnet to our back.
No, they hugged for like a good 2 minutes out of the movie in the sky. All right. Yes, they did. She wrapped herself around her and everything and set her up. And then she saw Taskmaster coming down and said, we out. And just started nose diving. All right.
Lou's just mad because he can't do that.
I don't understand
how
you can't accept this, but you can accept Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible doing stuff like that.
Some things are ridiculous too.
Okay. Yo, give him John Wick. He'll believe anything John Wick could do. It doesn't matter what John Wick does. John Wick can kill 50 people with one pencil.
You're right. He'll kill 20 people with a pencil, and you're okay with that. But a parachute while they're hugging in the sky is too much, man.
Yo, you guys are trying to make me look bad, and it's not working. All right, I'm standing on this. All right,
who's trying?
You guys are tag teaming on me right now over this parachute shit.
I will say this though. I will say, I think David Harbour killed his role.
Yo,
he
amazing.
was great as his character. It's cool to have another like super soldier in the MCU as well.
Yeah, because
even if they don't use him again, which they can.
Yeah,
it was just cool to have him in this movie and kind of balance things out. He was like the funny guy.
I love
whenever it got too serious.
Yeah,
I like the balance that he brought to the movie. Then you also have this too. What the hell's gonna happen with all the other widows?
John, what are you doing?
Because
I gotta hold my microphone. My microphone just fell off. I gotta hold it. So this is a new podcast microphone now. Sorry, guys.
You're gonna get tired.
What's it called?
I have no choice. The show must go on.
At the end, Taskmaster was still alive.
Yeah.
Left with Melina and Alexei.
But give us some
And all
context.
the-
She gave that red pixie dust, and then
the dust. Yeah. The medicine.
that made them
you
change
feel
their
me?
ways. They saw the light.
Well, basically the red I don't know what it was called. It was the red substance. Let's call it that. Okay. Was
The
basically
the serum.
Yeah, it was like
like a serum to get off of this mind control that Dreykov had every single widow under.
Yeah.
Pretty much he had this whole mind control thing where they couldn't hit him, they couldn't fight back, they couldn't do anything. They just
he had a
to listen
cologne
to everything.
according to the
That was-
comic books, right? It's like a cologne that he wears that they
No,
can't
not a
attack
cologne.
him.
It's pheromone.
Pheromones.
It's just basically his sweat, basically like his automatic scent that they're automatically, no matter what, they're when as a Black Widow when you're training, like because remember her mother, Melina, does the mind control
She's a
stuff with the pigs and
scientist
everything else
around
too.
the
She's a
end.
scientist, right? And also, by the way, total sidetrack real quick. If you watch it again in the beginning of it, the opening credits, they actually touch on every single thing in the movie in the opening credits. They show you all the children because they show you them taking photos in front of Christmas trees and everything else too, and they show you all the stuff that they go through as kids when they are kids,
Right.
and they touch on it throughout the movie. It was interesting to watch that.
So
Try that
Yeah,
microphone.
now they have another story that they can go to. Like I said, I still think Taskmaster is redeemable as a character because
give her
now
lines,
they're that's the thing, they were mind controlled this whole time. So what happens now? Maybe they can become an anti-hero like they are in the comics. You don't know.
and they got a gang. They got a gang of
You know what I'm
widows
saying?
with
They
them.
that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
the ending left a lot of stuff open and set up stuff for the future. So we can see. We're gonna see. You know
Now
what
the
I'm saying?
thing is, was it the chip that was allowing Dreykov's daughter to mimic these moves? Was it the technology that was in the helmet mixed with the chip? Because obviously we
good
know that
question.
Taskmaster, he was born with
Right,
this
right.
kind of gift. So that was another thing that I felt like that's not really him. Like you're messing this up, and you're getting me mad, and blah blah blah. So I was just feeling upset about it, bro. Like I don't know. Okay, Chris, I know you said he's not a main villain, but or even a main character. So to speak.
You hold him near the heart because he's heavily involved with your favorite character, Spider-Man. I know. I'm
Exactly.
I'm a Spider-Man fan as well. I get it. I understand.
It's annoying.
But
because
Spider-Man has a lot more. I understand, but even like you said, you mentioned it in the game.
Yeah.
What
It's a
was
side
he?
quest.
A side quest.
Yeah.
He's
But
a
it was
side
sick.
quest.
Makes me want to go play again, man.
He's a side quest. It's
The reason why
okay.
he's in all the games, by the way,
I hate you, Chris. I fucking
No, I'm just laughing because every couple seconds you just see
John.
the reason is this. And-
yo, I'm trying to fix everything right now. Like,
my
at the
God.
moment, okay. So anyway, the reason why he's in all the video games though too, is because of the fact that he's able to be the one character that no matter what is able to give somebody a challenge. It's similar to Mortal Kombat when you have to fight the mirror version of yourself,
Yeah.
because he's the one that no matter what, he's the one that can learn your moves, kind of like an AI that can learn your moves. So
Yeah.
if you have jump slide kick, he's going to do jump slide kick right back at you again. That's the reason why he's in the comics, and he's the one that's given almost everybody a run for their money, except for very few villains has he given them a run for their money. And he's the one that's good in the comics because he makes you adapt. He makes them evolve and change their skills because he doesn't learn by instantly learning. It takes seconds to learn, don't get me wrong, but when you have like somebody that's trained in a certain fighting skill,
right.
what are you going to do? If you not only know that fighting skill, you have to think on the fly because your automatic reflexes, now you got to change your reflexes. You got to change it. So it's making the characters evolve. And that's where Taskmaster is OP compared to other people. I'll be right back.
Yeah, so I want to get to the end credits because we kind of just touched on the entire film, 2 hours of nothing. But I will say, I know I'm trashing this film. I know I am. I'm just so upset. I just am because we know Marvel to do well, and maybe this is the beginning of Phase 4 when you think about it. Like, really? So now I really look forward to Shang-Chi. Like, I need to see this movie to make up for what I just saw. And that's going to come out September 3rd. You're talking about another month and a half or whatever. So, the ending of Black Widow, we get an end credit scene. And you're seeing Yelena visiting the tombstone of Black Widow. And she is visited by Valentina, right? Which we saw briefly in Falcon and the Winter Soldier show. And it looks like she's forming a team. So at the end of that show, she has the U.S. agent, and it can be that she may be working with General Ross. I don't know. And Chris, when you saw that, and you saw that she's giving her, by the way, an Apple product. Usually Apple products are not in the hand of villains. Gives them an iPad mini,
Right.
a mini to show Clint, like, this is the reason why your sister's dead. What were your thoughts on that?
She's technically not a villain either. She's more so like a Suicide Squad-ish person.
But she's giving wrong information.
Yeah, but that's what they do. They manipulate. You know what I'm saying? So
Isn't that a
she's not
villainary thing to do? I don't even know if that's a word.
If that's the case, then Iron Man's a villain.
Why would you say that?
Because he lies a lot. He manipulates a lot. He does all that a lot.
Give me a time he lied. Did he lie to Spider-Man?
He's the biggest MCU villain in MCU history.
Yo, Chris is trolling. Do not listen to him. This part of the podcast, you want to fast forward.
He's the reason the Avengers broke up. He's the reason they lost in Infinity War. He's all that.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
He is the reason that they did get into differences. You got to blame Bruce too. Bruce Banner, contributed to
it's Iron Man.
No, I also blame my biggest blame ever is Star-Lord. Fuck all that. Star-Lord's the biggest one to blame for everything.
That's different. I'm talking about
because he didn't kill Thanos when he had the time.
Right.
Listen, he was going through some emotional stuff. All right.
Iron Man's a villain. Okay, he created Ultron.
I can't believe you're saying this.
He's
is a hot take right now. Iron Man, the biggest. Wow.
Bro, he created Ultron. He created a being that was getting ready to destroy the Earth after being alive for like 15 seconds, bro.
As much as I hate this statement right now, and I don't want to agree with him,
it's the truth.
It's sad to say that he's actually not wrong.
But to be
he's
villain,
really not wrong.
He didn't do this purposely. He didn't say, I want to ruin the Earth. I want to kill people. It was a mistake.
Hey,
he was trying to do something
all
to
these
help.
All these people have good intentions. They want the best for the Earth. I understand that. It went wrong.
Thanos wanted the best. He wanted balance. That was his thing. I want balance.
In his mind, what ruined his planet was going to save everybody else's because he wanted what he thought was right to him. Was he right in general? No.
So Joker's a hero.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying according
it sounds
to
like
logic.
it because Joker has reasons behind his doings as well.
Everybody does.
Yeah. Omni-Man too, so Omni-Man's a hero.
It's all about the execution of it. I'm just saying.
Some pretty good. This is some really good tea.
I'm just saying it's the execution.
So Omni-Man's a hero. I just want to get that there.
No, Omni-Man's a menace to society. He wants to kill everybody. He wants to take over.
But he has reasoning too. He has some reasoning.
How the hell did we go into Invincible?
I'm just saying because he's saying,
bro, we just went through the whole MCU we went through the whole MCU and Amazon.
I'm just making the point. She's not necessarily full-blown evil, which is why she has Apple products, because it's like a Suicide Squad thing. She's taking people who want to be redeemed. Look what happened with U.S. agent at the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier. He did that one thing where at the beginning when he was introduced, he wouldn't have done. He would have went for the fight to look like the hero, but instead he actually became a hero a little bit and saved the people in the car, right? Same thing with Yelena. She was under mind control and doing terrible shit just like Winter Soldier was, okay? And now she's trying to be
That's
redeemed.
Hydra, blame Hydra.
I know, but I'm saying she's trying to be redeemed, which is what this Delafante Wante shorty is taking. All the characters want to be redeemed and make them a team to do her dirty work. Whether the dirty work is good or evil, it has yet to be determined.
But
which is why she has an Apple problem.
That's why I think she's working for General Ross, and then we're gonna get Thunderbolts.
Right. And if that's the case, Ross, is he a villain?
I think so. He made the Accords, and he's a villain. He started Civil War. It's his
who signed the Accords though first, and encouraged everybody to sign the Accords? Okay, then Iron Man. Stop it. I don't want to hear it. Iron Man's the biggest MCU villain. All right, he almost killed everybody twice.
But you know why he did that, right? Because he felt guilty for what happened with Ultron. He was trying to do something good.
Right, and then when he had a chance to redeem himself in Endgame, what did he do? He said, yo, out my face, get out my house, I'm with my family. He only changed his mind for one reason. The ghost, Spider-Man. Cut it out.
No, that's a hot take. That's a hot take. Don't listen to him.
I have a question though too. You just said that he only did the Accords because he was trying to save everybody from Ultron, right?
No. It was because of what happened with Ultron. He didn't want. He didn't
so
want
because
those
of
same
what
mistakes to
happened
happen.
so because of what happened with Ultron, right?
Yeah.
Who created Ultron?
I know, John. I know, and I said that, but it goes back to.
I'm going back to my tea.
No. It goes back to the fact that he made Ultron to protect the world from things that happen from Avengers. That's the whole reason of this.
That's fine.
And what is the overall thing that has been said though numerous times throughout all the Marvel movies? The fact is though, if they did not create themselves, if they were not superheroes, would the other people have even come to this Earth? Avengers have even happened? Would they have even came to Earth if it was not for the fact that Iron Man started making that suit and started doing that? Because Tony Stark is the beginning of all of it.
Well, if you want to go from the beginning, Captain Marvel was the first one to be known as a hero.
It doesn't matter, known as a hero or not, though. But Tony Stark, though, is the one that created the Iron Man suit, which is the one that made the Earth hot. Captain Marvel is interplanetary. She didn't stay on Earth. She took care of every other planet out there. Iron Man's the one that made Earth hot.
Okay.
Earth did not have no problems until Iron Man got involved with it and started taking it to a next level, and then all of a sudden he made Earth hot.
All right, so we get
Stark. This is a whole different topic, a whole different conversation right now.
Yeah, but I gotta say this: Stark Industries made these weapons, right? This is how it all started. He made these weapons.
Let me stop it.
He made these weapons and sold them to people for financial gain, right? And then when things hit the fan, when shit hit the fan, he fucking Chris, bro. He's not a villain.
He survived the terrorist.
No, because you go back to his father. You go back to his father.
We're about to make a whole new episode for this shit. We're about to make a whole new episode right now. We're about to cut this and go into a whole new episode for an hour and a half. And I'm about to rip you a new one. That's it.
Tony Stark Iron Man as a villain, and he's not. Because if you go back to his father, he's the one that created Captain America, who we love, right?
He made Captain America who we love. Who else did he make? Who else did he make? He made Iron Man. He made Tony Stark too. Tony Stark's father made Tony Stark too. Yin yang, bro. Yin yang. The good and the bad. The good was Captain America. The bad was Tony Stark. Fuck out of here. That's it.
Nope. I'm not buying this shit, man. John, just give us your idea or your thoughts on the end credit.
So, by the way, the end credits of Black Widow, back to the movie we were actually discussing, the end credits of Black Widow, I actually think that it was interesting because it did set up for future movies, and it did also tie into the idea of Hawkeye coming out as well. So it's kind of like just leading up to that. They could have honestly done the end credits with anywhere at all. They could have just released it as a short. It doesn't really matter. It didn't have to be in this show. If they would have released it, like me and Chris would talk right in the movie. Me and Chris were talking earlier too. If they would have released it back in the day when it first, after Civil War, it would have been that kind of like Nick Fury kind of like after Iron Man kind of released, like, oh my God, like who was that? Like, and set up for something for the future. But again, though, too, the time frame wouldn't have worked out because it's been too many years before they're going to be introducing Val again. Yeah. But I think that, the end credits was a good little nod and set up for something else, but it did feel out of place. But it does also show that they're showing for Yelena, like it was Yelena's movie.
Right. And to think about this, all right, I think also to think about this movie was supposed to come out a year ago. So we were supposed to get introduced to her character before we saw Falcon and Winter Soldier. So if you didn't watch the show, you're probably wondering, who the hell is this lady? But if you would have saw this movie before the show, you'd be like, oh yeah, I saw this lady at the end credits. It looks like she's building a team.
But it also shows that she's been in contact with her for a while now.
Yes,
because she the minute she walked up, she was like, I want to raise. Like,
yeah.
You're not supposed to bother me on vacation time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I think also to being that it looks like they're leading towards Thunderbolts. I don't know, because you still got Zemo and you got Agatha and these characters and Abomination that's gonna be in Shang-Chi. So it's like maybe this is the way they're gonna go. But I feel like this end credit scene only gave you the idea that's going to lead into the Hawkeye show, because now we have a kind of like a villain where we know she's not a villain, but Clint doesn't know she's not a villain. So they're probably going to end up being friends. Maybe Clint takes her away from that team and they become like what him and Black Widow was.
He's part of that team too.
Yeah, you're right.
From time to time in the comics.
You are right. I just thought about that right now. You are right. You're right.
And he also is in the, so after Endgame, his story is still yet to be seen, right? because he
Right.
had the whole Ronin thing
Yeah.
during Endgame.
Yeah.
During between Infinity War and Endgame, he had Ronin, where he was doing some wild stuff. So another character that she can take that wants to be redeemed because he did some foul shit.
True.
Just saying.
That's true.
Chris, that's a good take, man. I respect.
And we also know,
The Iron Man thing I don't respect. That one I respect.
In Hawkeye, we also know we're going to be getting Hawkeye's daughter too. We're going to be getting
Yes.
Clint's daughter as well
So,
too. We already
Young
know
Avengers
that's confirmed. So
Coming.
Young Avengers, they have a lot they're going with. The Young Avengers,
Yeah.
the Thunderbolts. Like there are numerous things that they can lead into. Because you also know too that you have with the Young Avengers as well too. You have the kids from WandaVision,
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
who are now in Loki's world because
Well, we don't know.
we'll go into that another conversation.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like right now, the crazy part with MCU is they're building so much different stuff on different levels, right?
Yeah.
So you got the ground level stuff that's on Earth, like the Falcon Winter Soldier, this one as well, the Thunderbolts or the Dark Avengers and the Young Avengers. But then you also got the intergalactic stuff, the time travel stuff that they got with Loki going right now,
Eternals
Doctor
coming soon.
Strange, the
That's true.
magic, all even with Shang-Chi, I know there's magic involved. So it's all they're building a crazy universe legit right now. And it's gonna be fun to watch, man.
So before we end this episode, do you think this was a great way to start Phase 4? That's
I think it was a solid way to start it. It's been 2 years since we've seen anything as far as movie wise. I know we've had the shows and whatnot, which have built up a lot of theories and all this extra stuff and future projects. But it was a solid starter. It's not like I said, it's not the greatest thing ever, but it's a solid mid-tier MCU movie.
Okay. John?
I don't think so. I don't think that this was Phase 4 at all. I think this was still part of the old phases. I don't take it as the introduction to anything else. I just take it as a filler between to keep us held over until we get the beginning of Phase 4, which is going to be,
Shang-Chi, September 3rd.
yeah. So Shang-Chi,
Eternals,
Doctor Strange,
Strange.
Eternals.
Spider-Man.
That's where Spider-Man. That's where I think I'm personally going to consider that the beginning of Phase 4. I don't consider Black Widow Phase 4 at this point. I consider it part of the older phases because of the fact that it fits in
That
numerous
time,
areas back there. It doesn't fit into the new phase going forward. So, but I mean, it just closed out a lot of people. Nobody got Black Widow, so I think it closed it out for us.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. And I think also too, I feel like this didn't need to happen, like I stated earlier. But I feel that this did not start off Phase 4 right. I think the shows did a better job. And Loki right now, we're gonna get it. So when you're watching this, it's Tuesday. We're getting it tomorrow, which is Wednesday, the final episode of Loki. And maybe that opens up Phase 4. And that gives us an idea of where Phase 4 is going. So I think, again, this was just a filler. But also, too, the end credits gave us some insight of what we're going to see when Hawkeye drops on Disney+. So that's going to be it for us. I want to thank you guys for stopping by. Remember, we drop a new episode of Keep Gaming Podcast every Monday. If you don't watch us live, we are now live on Twitch, Keep Gaming Podcast, every Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern. And again, if you don't have the time to watch us, you can also listen to us wherever you get your podcasts. And that's going to be it for us, guys. Thank you. Until next time, keep gaming. Peace.
Iron Man's a villain.
Yeah. Yes.